help you, but you don't use the same sentences.
Okay, so share a little bit more about what you know about stories. You said that they're real or fake, and we talked a little bit about there actually can be realistic fiction, right? They could actually have happened to somebody, but the character's name might be different. What else do you know about stories that help you read?
I know about stories that they might be like really real, or maybe not, or maybe like it could be in the olden days when we weren't like.
What else do you know about stories that helps you read?
It helps us read because the author can more know about things when you're like doing like writing.
Okay, what else do you know?
I also know that it kind of makes children happy.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a couple things about stories. Stories have characters in them, okay? So who do you think our character is in this book called A Bike for Brad?
It's all about getting a new bike.
And who's our character?
Brad.
Brad is our character, right? Let's go inside and see if there's other characters, okay? So let's look and scan the print and see if there's other names. Oh,
Angela?
or Ashley. So Ashley's another character. So Brad and Ashley, it looks like are our main characters, okay? All right. What else about stories to know is that Brad and Ashley are going to be talking. Most of the time in stories, they're going to be talking. Do you notice any talking marks or quotation marks?
I know they're talking right now.
Yeah, right here. Those are quotation marks. That means Brad's talking and Ashley's talking. What do you think they're talking about?
Maybe talking about getting a new bike.
Yeah, that's the story, right?
Well,
so stories have a problem or an event too, don't they? And so what do you think this event is?
This event could all be by bike.
It's about getting a bike, right? A bike for Brad. That's the event in the story. And so you can be thinking about what you know about bikes and getting a bike, getting a new bike, right? And then there's a setting. Where does the story take place? In stories, there's settings. Where do you notice that the story takes place in the beginning?
I know that it takes place that they're pointing at a new bike because it's
so where do you think they are?
They're at like a bike.
Yeah, you're looking there. They're like at a bike sale in a store, right?
Yeah.
And then what do you notice? Where are they?
I noticed that they're like at a bike competition because maybe they're gonna enter.
Yeah, there could be in a bike competition. Then where is the setting?
Then I see the sitting in his bedroom.
Yeah, he's at home and look at his face.
He looks sad.
Yeah, so there's some problem going on.
Maybe he doesn't want this bike because on this page it has no scratches, but on this one it does.
So you're using some of the pictures too. So we know in stories, and this will be helpful for you to read, or when you're reading a story, we know there's characters. We know that the characters are talking to each other. We know there's a problem or an event in the story, right? And then we know that the setting is going to change, okay? So this story is called A Bike for Brad, and let's think about those things when we're reading, okay? So go ahead.
Brad walked around the bike shop with his cousin Angela. Wait, no.
Ashley.
Looking at all the shiny new bikes.
Yeah, this is abbreviation BMX.
Bikes.
Yeah, that's a special kind of bike.
Okay. There's the new one I want for my birthday. He said I could ride.
So what strategy are you trying?
I'm trying to make all these ones work right there.
What else could you try? What's another strategy you know?
That the E in the.
So what other strategy besides the word do you know?
I know that.
What else?
I know the Lee.
Okay, let's think about this. Let's try this strategy. Let's read on. I
The
could ride blank well. I could ride
Ready?
well if I had a bike like that. What do you think it could be? I could ride. That word is actually really.
Really?
Yeah, it's a word you need to know. It's a second grade. So I could ride really well.
If I had a bike like that. My old one, this is mushed too small for me.
That's not good, is it?
Mm-mm.
Let's see what happens.
If you had that bike, you could ride in the BMX race like I do, said Angela.
Ashley.
Ashley. But the bike cost
What can you try?
I know the should.
Yeah, let's read on though. But the bike costs blank a lot. Costs
Such a lot.
Does that make sense? Yeah, such a lot. So one of the reading strategies that you want to add to your toolkit is reading on, okay? And then go back and reread it.
But the bike cost lot. But the bike cost such a lot, said Brad.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't got much money now. That's Dad's out. Now that Dad's out of work.
Yeah, you did a good job of pulling that together and phrasing it correctly. You know what I'm thinking? A couple things. This is kind of new language for you, isn't it? But the bike costs such a lot. We don't really say that, do we? We usually say, but the bike cost a lot, right? We don't say such a lot, okay? So that's kind of unusual language. So what do we know about Brad right now?
That he really wants a bike, but he doesn't have so much money.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
You can saddle ride my bike. You can sit
Let's get here's another strategy to try, honey. You want to get it started. You can
stand.
Do you know a word that looks like the end of that word?
Will?
Yes, it does. So use that to solve it. You can
still.
Try it.
You can still ride my bike.
Nice job. So that's another strategy to be thinking about, a word that you know that looks like it to help you solve, and you just did that. So you thought of the word will, and it got you to still, didn't it? All right, so whenever you want to, said Ashley, come on, let's go and practice down at the track again. You're getting really good at going over the hills, right? Okay, let's see what Ashley says.
Ashley watched it. Brad riding around the BMX tracks on her bike.
Okay, so let's read that again with the pausing and phrasing. Listen, Ashley watched Brad riding around the BMX track on her bike. See how I read that? So try to read that using that pausing and phrasing. Read it with me. Ashley watched Brad riding around the BMX track on her bike.
You're a good rider, Brad, she said as he came up to the finish line.
As he came up to the, get it started.
Fence.
Yeah, that looks like fence.
If you get that new bike for your birthday, you blink never.
Now that's a little tricky, isn't it? Because you can't get it reading on, right? So for your birthday, do you know a word that looks like that word?
Maybe.
Well, let's try it. You maybe even get on our BMX team. Maybe makes sense. Doesn't look like it. Do you know a word that looks like that? Night. Do you know the word night?
Yeah.
Try that to get to that word.
Might.
Now try it.
You
might even
get on our BMX team.
Wow, that would be fun, right?
Brad smiled. I'm not that good, he said.
Okay, does this look like smiled? Makes sense. But
Laughed.
yeah, Brad laughed. Good work.
All
right, so I have a question for you. What couple new strategies will you try after our reading today?
I will try to maybe think of a word that looks
Yeah, that's a really good strategy because I think you have a lot of words that you can use. What's another strategy you might add?
maybe blank them.
Yeah,
do
reading
that.
on. Sometimes it helps and sometimes it didn't. In this case, it didn't, right? And then we had to think of a word that looked like it. Okay? So you have a couple new strategies to be thinking about using as a reader, okay?
This actually doesn't really make sense because if he asked for that on his birthday, you already know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it does. Isn't that kind of funny?
Mhm.
All right, good work, my friend.